through the airwaves and all around the world. You're listening to Mr. Scott's podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Mr. Scott from Mr. Scott's podcast. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Today I'm going to be sharing the testimony of the famous comedian Larry the Cable Guy. His real name is Dan Whitney, and I heard his testimony and I thought it was really good, and you might know by now that I'm a big testimony guy. I love listening to people's testimonies about how God is working in people's lives, and so hey, I got to share Larry the Cable Guy's testimony. So hope you guys enjoy this. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Well, Dan, you're a Nebraska native. You're a Cornhusker football fan. Some people may not know that you're a husband, you're a father, and there are probably some who would be surprised to know that you're actually a faithful follower of Jesus.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I would love for our listeners to just get a snapshot of your story. Like, who are you and how did you get to this place in life where you're so passionate about Jesus?
Well, number one, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm doing a podcast with you as well, and Brian Clark, and I've always said this: you have two ways of looking at the world. Either God created, Genesis 1, God created the heavens and the earth, or he didn't. That forms your entire path and walk in life. So if you believe there's a God and he created the universe, you have a certain path that you walk. Of course, we're not perfect. We fall away from those paths. Look, I grew up in a Christian home. My dad was a pastor. I don't have one of these crazy testimonies. Oh, then I got into drugs, and then I was, smuggling heroin across the border. Nothing like that. I was just a normal kid. My dad was a preacher. He was a great preacher. He wasn't that great of a dad, so I easily could have said, the heck with this,
right.
A bunch of hypocrites. I didn't do that because I realize in life that, you don't ridicule the teacher when the students have gone awry, and it's not God's fault that people turn out the way they do and the way that people act. That's not God's fault. That has nothing to do with the fact that Jesus came and was crucified and resurrected, and that has nothing to do with the way that people act. So I grew up in a Christian home, but the head of the house didn't really act very good. And I loved him, but I forgive, I don't have any dad issues or anything like that. I'm a normal guy, but, I got involved in showbiz and telling jokes and going out on the road. And, I always love that verse about, it's easier for
Camel to go through
the camel to go through an eye of a needle than it is a rich man to get into heaven.
Right.
And people think that that's because they always say, well, there you go, you can't have money. If you're rich, you can't get into heaven, because that's not what it's saying. And when I was going along this path, I began to realize what that meant. It meant when, if you acquire a lot of wealth, you acquire a lot of fame, you don't think you need a God. You don't think you're your own God. You can do anything you want. You can buy anything you want. You can go anywhere you want. You can do anything you want. But after a while, there becomes an emptiness in there. And now I always knew what I was lacking. I already had Jesus living in my heart, but I got away from it. I wasn't engaged in the Bible. I wasn't engaged in anything. I got caught up in all this other stuff. Once I began to realize that this is a dead-end road, something's going to happen that isn't good, because I'm not living my life the way that I should be living my life. And I wasn't really happy. I was happy doing this and that, but I really wasn't truly happy. It was like, I don't like this. I don't like the way I feel here. And I know what it was. I was getting away from the thing that truly gave me hope and happiness. It wasn't in all this other stuff. And then that's when I said, and then of course my wife had a cancer scare, and she got really close. She got saved, and And her coming closer to getting saved and coming closer to Jesus really helped me in my walk as well. And then that's when I realized, you know what? That's not what it's about. It's about my heart. It's about my relationship with Jesus. And so then I made a complete turn. I rededicated my life, and I said, look, I'm not perfect. I still do some dumb things, but I am going to stay in contact. I'm gonna stay close, and I'm gonna let the Lord work in me, and that's what's happening. And so I'm getting sanctified more and more. Things that I used to do, I don't even want to do anymore. It's not that I'm not tempted. I am still tempted. Look, I'm a normal guy, a regular guy. I like to laugh. I like to tell jokes. I like to see people happy. But I realize in the end, when it comes down to it, it's my relationship with Jesus that makes everything complete, makes me true freedom. I know when I die, I'm going to heaven. I know that Jesus has forgiven me of my sins, even though I still do dumb stuff. You know, it's like in the book of Judges, you know, the Israelites, 6 times. You know, they forgot what God did for them, and he had to punish them, but he brought them back up, and they did good, and then they go back down. That's kind of like me, you know. I'm kind of like the book of Judges, you know. I did this, and I went down here, and then God goes, what are you doing? And then he pulls me back up, and so I think I'm out of Judges now. Now I'm kind of a Gideon, kind of realizing, you know, I can do these things, and I just put my full trust in Jesus and take that step out.
I think it's pretty evident from the moment I met you, you just carried yourself in a way that was refreshing because, let's be honest, you're a celebrity, you're well known, you've got influence, and
very attractive, square jaw,
I was just getting
firm
there.
muscular buttocks. I have everything that you need.
That's exactly right. That's right.